Salutations. Be welcome to message 4. Make yourself comfortable. Let's go through the previous messages swiftly to get you along. In the first message, were you introduced to the excellent world of tomorrow, based on Walt Disney's vision Tomorrowland, and how we achieve through 3 excellent ideas. The first idea, mutually assured construction, we covered in message 2, and unlocks our excellent world of tomorrow through 3 key terms: nurture, connect, and respect, which focuses on us humanity to nurture our world and us human individuals to nurture our human needs. Connect then focuses on us humanity to connect with the excellent wisdom and knowledge about our world and human needs. And respect to respect ourselves, humanity, and our fellow man, which is necessary to productively connect and nurture. Purocracy fills those 3 terms in by principally stating our rule as humanity over our own world, as individual human beings presenting ourselves responsibly through expert guidance and other supportive guidance in the societal stakes which affect us individually or our care-receiving loved ones, so that we are able to nurture the ideas which make our world competently and honestly. The World Constitution is the formal foundation to that excellent world of tomorrow and enables Purocracy to unlock mutually assured construction to establish, maintain, and further grow our excellent world. Understand, our excellent world will forever remain in tomorrow if you do not share with your network. All right, Purocracy. We have covered in the last message the foundational philosophical theory to our excellent governance system, universal governance theory, and its 7 principles, universal, general, and fundamental in human governance, which are rule by humanity, self-presentation, expert guidance, self-responsibility, respect for ideas, true leadership, and one interconnected location. In this message, will we continue on top of those reality-grounded principles? Together they make Purocracy, and combined with the World Constitution as by message 5, allows us to unlock our excellent world of tomorrow. This is where we ended the first part of Purocracy, Principle 7, one interconnected location of UGT. The principle which practically connects the other 6 principles most effectively and efficiently. Now let us make some room here to better illustrate stakeholder management theory. That is better. Stakeholder management theory. What does the theory mean? How does its content connect with the former theory? And how does that benefit you? The philosophical theory created by Dr. Jürgen Habermas, one of the most important philosophers of the 20th century, came up with deliberative stakeholder perspective to emphasize the inclusion of all parties affected by an organization's decision-making in the decision-making process, to come towards reason-grounded consensus between parties, prioritizing moral validity for true, legitimate decision-making of a societal organization. You are probably thinking, now what the heck does deliberative stakeholder perspective mean? Do not worry, we are not going to apply that term here, but its content as stakeholder management theory, as it is the most reason-grounded, most respected stakeholder management theory in existence. And again, do not worry, it is not difficult to understand. To understand the following first. We as human individuals all have a web of societal stakes which affects the quality and quantity of our own human needs. Those who receive our care as well, such as our children. This web contains, for example, your healthcare, housing, charitable causes, entertainment, your employer, the world peace, and world prosperity as well, and includes the World Constitution, as you will come to understand in Message 5. Every single part of society which affects you and your care-receiving loved one's human needs, you have a stake in, and is thereby part of your own web of societal stakes. And it is important you are able to present yourself in those stakes when your human needs are in jeopardy. Because as we have covered, when you are not able to present yourself when necessary, then others will decide without you, and not reliably include your own human needs. As Dr. Habermas stated, to ensure moral validity of decision-making, we can also state it is important that all the affected humans of a society's part are included, as well as the necessary knowledge and wisdom to guide decision-making process towards excellence. The Latin homos and sapiens reliably and responsibly included in societal decision-making. When all stakeholders are present in decision-making when necessary and fitting, then decision-making and the ideas involved will be more accurate, more reliable, and more supported as well, and will systemically ensure the presence of true leadership related to each societal part. Let's cover here a few examples for you to better understand the importance of stakeholder management in the nurturing of your human needs. Have you ever heard of the Phillips petroleum disaster of 1989? On the 23rd of October 1989, occurred a number of explosions at the Phillips Petroleum Company in Pasadena, Texas, United States. As a result of these explosions, was the industrial location destroyed with more than 20 human lives gone. The reason why I bring this up as example is of course how it is connected to the decision-making which led to the disaster, or better said, lack of decision-making, lack of true leadership, lack of stakeholders involved in the prevention of the disaster. The disaster was caused by a corporate culture of cutting costs in maintenance and safety, as well as workfloor expertise. Safety experts and the more experienced workfloor operators were aware of the location's shortcomings, even warned the directors several times. But the directors, the decision-makers, decided to emphasize profit over safety every time, and thereby profit over human lives. Had the operators, experts, and related government agency OSHA been directly involved in the decision-making process as stakeholders managing their stake, rather than praying decision-making favors safety over profits, then the entire disaster would simply not have happened. Then the concerned stakeholders could have demanded safety decisions over profit decisions, which is nothing more or less than common sense, and replaced the ones in leadership positions if demonstrated to not be true leaders, which, to be very clear, emphasizes safety over profits, period. Then that would have been true teamwork, true independence, and true interdependence, true society. The same applies to the aforementioned example of OceanGate. Had the deep-sea diving expert community been directly influential over the decision-making process regarding the organization as well as the employees, then the disaster would not have happened. The same for Theranos. Had the medical equipment expert community been directly influential in the research and development process of the Edison, connected to investors, then the investors would have realized what Theranos was doing was not technically possible. Yet, stakeholder management is therefore not just for the protection of employees, but investors and shareholders as well. For a truly functioning organization where every stakeholder receives and provides his or her reasonable share, is responsible, self-presenting stakeholder management necessary. On every level and every part of society, which includes every stake in our own societal stake web. One more example and then it should be crystal clear. The Disney company with the acquisition of the Star Wars franchise. The Disney company, much like every other large for-profit company these days, emphasizes profit over pretty much anything else, including the quality of product or service. In Disney's case, did they buy the Star Wars franchise and treated it like a cash cow, not bothering much about the quality as long as it raked in enough money? Catering into nostalgia for fans in the trailers, only to receive disappointment upon release with too often bad acting and bad storytelling. They believed they could just keep going this route of pure nostalgia baiting. But now, anno 2025, have a lot of fans become distrustful towards Star Wars and Disney overall, claiming the franchise dead to them. Had the fans being truly influential in the decision-making process regarding Star Wars and even its acquisition, then Star Wars would not only not have fallen, but actually become excellent and simple, because among the Star Wars fans are their excellent storytellers who came up with stories far better than what Disney thus far delivered. Then the cinema goers and fans would have been happier and thereby more engaged, thereby happier shareholders and directors as well. Now connect these examples with the aforementioned of healthcare, food, security, and world peace and world prosperity, and you come to see why stakeholder management is crucial in the systemic assurance of minimal corruption and incompetence, and maximum honesty and competence. And with message 5, why our world constitution is so important in the systemic assurance of that universal stakeholder management. Last but not least to mention, have women their own societal stake web as well, based on their own human needs. For example, in healthcare with breast cancer research, women have been scientifically proven to be just as intelligent as men are, and can decide just as much on reason and logic as men as well. They therefore have just as much right to manage their own societal stake web as men. But we are not done yet in the systemic minimization of corruption and incompetence, and the systemic maximization of honesty and competence to establish that wonderful, excellent world of tomorrow of ours, maintain, and further grow. No. We have one more fundamental, general, universal philosophical theory to go. Universal education theory. The Theory on Education by Dr. Rajul Abedin. Universal education, to be more exact. Education on morality. To put morality in one sentence, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In other words, treat others with the same kindness, respect, and consideration as you would like to receive from others. Morality is the internal compass of right and wrong, which guides us towards a truly social and reliable world which benefits us all. It is a fundamental requirement to any reliable society. Without it, nothing worthwhile and legitimate can remain in our world, and is therefore essential in true self-presenting stakeholder management in any societal stake we, as human beings, have. Morality is not the only part, though, of true universal education, because between you and me, had to add self-development education and education on the basics of society as well to make it truly universal. And of course, are we amongst a parallel humanity? And comes this entire message from this parallel humanity? That addition by me is between you and me, all right? Ain't no one else in our world need to know that. All right, now let's cover these three parts one by one. First, universal morality education consists out of empathy and perspective taking, the ability to place yourself in someone else's shoes and understand their perspective on a situation, share their feelings, an ability we nearly all inherently have, but not enough developed at the moment, which will improve with this form of education. Then we have fairness and justice, being able to distinguish the rights and wrongs we or others do unto others without favoritism or any form of discrimination can be taught as well, across our entire world, most effectively and efficiently through one interconnected location dedicated to our responsible self-presenting stakeholder management of our own societal stake web. Next, responsibility and accountability. To understand being in an influential position, having affect over others' human needs, and being able to be blamed when that responsibility falters, and to understand if you do not want that responsibility and accountability, but do want such a position because of the perks, then you do not belong there, and do not deserve the perks either. And lastly, self-control, which bridges with universal self-development education. Now, what is self-control? Self-control is the ability to control one's emotions and desires, especially in difficult situations. Together, do these parts of morality form universal moral education, applicable to every human being, regardless of culture, ethnicity, walk of life, and age. Same goes to universal self-development education and societal education. Bringing us to that universal self-development education. We got a list on this one, so hang tight. Communication in universal self-development education means being able to communicate your own human needs or your care receivers to others respectfully, and thereby morally in universal stakeholder management. Then there is emotional intelligence, the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically, followed by resilience, the capacity to handle difficulties. The outcome in governance decision-making may not always be exact to what you desire. Resilience allows for us to get over that and work with the decision made. Critical thinking. Critical thinking has been described as an ability to question, to acknowledge and test previously held assumptions, to recognize ambiguity, to examine, interpret, evaluate, reason, and reflect, to make informed judgments and decisions, and to clarify, articulate, and justify positions. Time management. Ability to organize the 24/7, 365 we all have most efficiently and effectively. Important when topic education and universal education are offered along with self-presentation in the filtering of ideas which make our societal stakes. And goal setting. The process of defining specific, measurable, and time-bound objectives to guide actions and motivate progress towards a desired outcome. It involves creating a plan with clear steps and criteria for success to turn intentions into a concrete roadmap for achievement in areas like personal development, fitness, or business. Self-development education on learning itself. Some may have difficulty with learning on its own. Guidance on that can be provided as well. Of course, self-confidence, a feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment, can be taught as well. Don't you worry about that. And lastly, growth mindset, the belief that intelligence, abilities, and talents can be developed through dedication, effort, and persistence. Mentioned because all of this can be taught to you and every other human being. Now, last but not least, part of universal education theory, modified version that is, universal societal education, which is education dedicated to improve us individuals understanding the abouts of society. Now, what could this be? Simple. Having some basic skills in statistics, as any governance often revolves around statistics. And also, what is science? What does it do for our human needs? And what is the scientific method which makes science science? And what is the law, technically, basically? And what is the rule of law? And why so important? Then, the legislative pillar, executive pillar, judiciary pillar, and media pillar, what about them? The World Constitution, explicit to mention as by the following message, Message 5. What is it about? And why so important? Same goes to every human right. Why important to you and your loved ones? And why respect others' human rights? And lastly, ideologies and miscellaneous. What is capitalism, socialism, and communism? Why do they exist? And why can society not be accurately captured in just one of them, but is inherently a mixture of application we're collectively deemed best, and everything else we collectively deem important to share amongst us humanity? There's a vast library on all of these three universal forms of education which can be taught to us all by our best and the related communities of experts at large, dedicated to elevate you and everyone else to be excellent in mind and human needs. So far, universal education theory, modified version, bringing us now to the last general part to mention about Purocracy, the name itself. Why Purocracy? What does it mean? Again, simple. It means pure power. The Latin puro for pure, and the crassy for power. And that pure makes sense is by the following. We humanity empowered over our own world. So the biggest all collectively empowered over the largest sum of common good. Then, we as human individuals empowered in our own web of societal stakes. So we cover the entirety of humanity and combine all the societal stake webs with all the overlappings. And we as human individual combine governance power with mental power to responsibly govern our societal stake web. Then, will we be able to evaluate and translate excellent ideas into society? And then as well, will we be able to evaluate any leadership amongst us to be true to the term, recognizing nothing less than excellent leadership as leadership? Do you see a bit already where this parallel humanities think tank's thinking is going? Let me put it further then. It allows us to unburden us systemically from nearly, if not all, the corruption and incompetence amongst us across our world, and elevate ourselves and our world through systemically worldwide assured honesty and competence of governance and education. Like grading the purity, flawlessness of a diamond, but rather than the degree of scratches and dirt present in a diamond, the amount of corruption and incompetence systemically possible in governance. The pure empowerment of the homos, the pure empowerment of the sapiens, purely interconnected through one interconnected infrastructure. There, all clear to you? On top of that, could have called it homo sapocracy, but that term just does not have any appeal to it, not as communicable. No, Purocracy, it is. The one and only excellent governance system. The one and only above the governance reliability threshold. All others attempt to capture mere parts of it. Coping mechanisms from times before we all became interconnected. And we will do no respect to ourselves, care-receiving loved ones, the ones who have died for our own voice, no one to our collective past, by not realizing Purocracy excellent into our world. But more on that at final message. Once again, thank you kindly for watching my message to you and humanity by extent. Now let us continue with message 5, the World Constitution.